So I had an opportunity to attend my second regional qualifier. I had an excellent time on the trip, so I felt like bringing you guys with me. And I'm very new to this kind of stuff, and I learned so much during the event. How to film and how not to film, what camera angles work best, and some equipment that I definitely needed to acquire. I wish that I was able to share this with you a little sooner, and we're hoping that we've got that figured out for the next one. I'm excited for the opportunity to go to Dallas for my next large event, and I'm hoping I can bring you guys with me. So the trip began on Thursday. We left in the morning, had quite the drive. It was about 2.5 hours, but we had good weather on the road, nothing too bad, and I got to hang out with my wife along the way. It was a pretty good time, listened to music and chatted about Riftbound for quite a bit. And we got to the airport pretty early. Inconveniently, I got an email saying that my flight was delayed due to thunderstorms. It wasn't thunderstorming yet, but it was coming. It was on the way, and my flight was delayed. My flight ended up being delayed for 2 hours, so I ended up spending some time in the Delta Sky Club. The complimentary food was a good time. They had ice cream too, and some free, best price adult beverages. It was a good time. Had an old fashioned, hung out, chilled, and figured out how not to film things. That was kind of the theme for day 0, was just learning, and it was a good time. All right, now that we're hanging out, enjoying the time, just relaxing, waiting for boarding time to show up, which actually might be sooner than I'm expecting. Let's double check. All right, so supposedly we're boarding in 15 minutes, so I'm going to record this and then head over there to hang out. I wanted to mention Kaisa is worse than she was, but we're going to go there, have a good time. I think she's also better than people think she is, and people aren't really practicing into her as much. Granted, the deck hasn't changed a whole lot in the past couple sets. We really didn't get that much support, and I did mention during my 25K video that the deck would change a lot, and it did. But did mostly change back, because every time that I made a change, I kept wanting to go back to what I was using before. Every change didn't feel like it was a direct upgrade. It just felt kind of okay. I'm a firm believer that the play style and the strong things that we were doing before is still prevalent now, and there's less things that directly counter our play style. And I think the results of Utrecht will make the meta at Hartford a little bit more favored for us. A lot of the pains of the deck are the same now as they have always been. Master Yi, if we lose the die roll, it's kind of rough. We really want to draw well, land multiple 400s on the field, and go first. And if we're going second, we have to stabilize earlier than we want to, and that might be painful. Irelia is probably not as bad as it used to be, depending on the build. That's largely because they have less spells, less buffs, more units. I generally think that the matchup is slightly better for us than it was last set. And then Azir. Azir is very miserable. It's very difficult to play. And I'm hopeful that I can navigate it okay enough. But if Azir draws well, there's not a whole lot we can do. I'm still undecided if I'm keeping 2 thermals in the board for that matchup or not. It's also useful into like Lucian, Rana de Glask, Sivir. Like, Ornn has become a little bit more of an aggro deck than a like spam the board with gear and then make big man. So that's less of a consideration, but the moving is still good, and I'm still figuring that one out. In the next couple days, I'll continue to show and record my experience going to the Hartford Regional Qualifier. However, within the week or so, we're going to do some recording of different matchups for Kaisa. We're going to talk about a couple different deck builds that'll be very relevant for you if you're considering picking up the deck. That way you can like try my build, try some others, and then tune your list for whatever you're running in your area if you're playing Kaisa. So get subscribed, look out for that. And eventually we were able to take off. Unfortunately, I didn't know the best way to hold the camera while filming, so a lot of the early trip footage is pretty unusable, or it's just me like really holding the camera really low. So it was a good learning opportunity, and I figured out what kind of gear I needed to acquire over the trip, where to hold the camera, how to talk to it, when to talk to it. Those kind of things I'm still figuring out over time, and I'm hoping that I can have a better concept of how to do that when I go to my next event in Dallas. After the extensive delays, we ended up landing in Connecticut, took a quick Uber over to my hotel, dropped my stuff off, and then rushed over for some scrims. We were at Prismaticism's hotel for about 20 minutes, and then we all hopped in some cars and drove over to an Airbnb. That was one of the most interesting and enjoyable scrimming experiences I've had the opportunity to participate in. I got to chat with Casanova for a bit, meet a lot of Dallas-Fort Worth Riftbound gamers, and played some good games. My walk over to Prismaticism's hotel was actually quite pleasant. Time to go find Prismaticism and some good friends for some scrims. Probably we're gonna get some pizza, hang out, play some games. Let's show you. Down the road. Luckily, I didn't get lost on the way over to Prismaticism's hotel. It was a pretty short walk, and I did have a chance to see some of the prettier architecture in Hartford, Connecticut, and be a little bit more familiar with where I was for the next day as I was walking to and from the venue. After watching my good friend Will play some games with Prismat, we ended up heading over to an Airbnb a little ways away. They provided some awesome pizza, some drinks, and we hung out, played some games. The footage from those games is pretty scuffed, so we're actually including it as a separate video after this one if you guys wanted to watch it. It's kind of a behind the scenes of me playing 4 games with Prismaticism. It's difficult to tell what's going on, but it's like, you know, it's us hanging out if you guys wanted to see it. After playing with the guys, we ended up getting back to the hotels pretty late. I was probably asleep around 1 in the morning. I was pretty fried, and you could tell by the the unusable footage that I filmed that evening, just rambling about nothing. I was still trying to figure out the sideboard cards that I wanted for the main event. Luckily, that was what the pre-regional qualifier was for, and I never really got really confident about the sideboard deck list that I was using. I didn't have nearly enough time for testing that I wanted to, which is one of the reasons I'm no longer working and can play the game significantly more. I'm excited for the opportunities that I have to experiment and play as I learn to do this YouTube thing and get better at the game. Travel is travel, but we're here, and we're definitely excited for the next thing. I'll see you guys tomorrow.